Namaste, Angel. This is going to be the weekly reading, switching it up just a little bit. I got dice here, but they're not my normal dice. These are date night dice, beginning with movie night and, oh goodness, I need my glasses night. Watch the sunset. Watch the sunset. Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so let's see what it says here. Still movie night. Give you some date ideas. Valentine's Day weekend is coming up. Valentine's Day, I think, is a weekday. So people are celebrating over the coming weekend, as I understand it. I really do need my glasses. Start a scrapbook. And now I know, next time I use these, I better put my glasses on. And with the cards, we're starting with Crossroads. Oh, with soulmate behind the crossroads. So I think there are a bunch of us, whether you're the masculine or the feminine, that are in an additional third-party situation. I actually have one client slash viewer slash friend on here that is in a, I guess, sort of polyamorous. I mean, you create your own thing. Polyamorous relationship for years. You know, I guess her soulmate and her twin flame have been sort of arch enemies, and now they're all just one big happy group. After having reached a crossroad, most of us won't go that route, but it just goes to show whatever again works for you in your life is what you're meant to be doing, like living your truth and not worrying about what other people are saying, thinking, whatever. We come in here alone. We go out of here alone. If in the meantime you can spend some of your time with somebody you really care about, love, that's awesome. But those people that you're worried about hurting their feelings or disappointing them or whatever, you leave without them. They leave without you. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, we're here for a short time. I always say both too long and too short. Life is both too long and too short to be miserable and like living for other people, basically, and not being happy. So in any case, crossroad and soulmate. So I think some of us will come to a crossroad. Some of us may be in that situation where you come to a crossroad and you have to make a choice between a soulmate and your twin flame, or between your soulmate and an existing karmic relationship. Do I continue this, or do I go be with my soulmate, or go be with my twin flame, or whatever? Do I stay in this other relationship? And then some are just in a third party. So I think this is what this is talking about: divergent paths, choices, confusion. But you got to follow your intuition and your heart. I'm going to add and your heart. I just did the moon reading, and it started out with cards that talked about following your heart. Also, soulmate says compatibility, companionship, and your best life partner. So if you want to be happy, this is the choice. And based on the other cards, I hadn't even, because I hadn't realized soulmate was under there, I guess. So I was going to say I hadn't even realized what we had going here. But here we have the 10 of Pentacles. So this is talking about a long-term, really stable, secure, happy, relationship. This is being provided for, and this is providing for another. This is just an abundant relationship. And it looks like somebody wants to, if it has to do with relationship, it could also have to do for some of us, since this is also a general reading, with just like some sort of lump sum of money that's coming in, some sort of win, could be even like a lottery win, gambling win, or a legal win, like a claim. I saw in the Leo full moon reading that I just did, was a Leo. Yeah. I saw like workman's comp or VA benefits or something like that coming in. So that could be, especially with the 8 of Wands immediately following, you could be getting correspondence, letter in the mail or something, or an email, or even a phone call about some, lump sum of money. Or again, somebody could be making you some sort of romantic offer or wanting to communicate with you, and because they see you as potential long-term partner material. And we do have the King of Cups in reverse immediately following these cards, and then behind him yet another king, the King of Wands. So the King of Cups in reverse, traditional tarot is somebody who, is willing to go like against all odds, bet it all if he has to, take whatever risks he needs to get what he wants, including in love. So that could be what's happening right now. Again, like I said, ignoring what other people say. You're at a crossroad and just saying, you know what, fuck this. I'm going after what I want. And that could be a romantic partner. Or if it has something to do with something else, it could be some other sort of abundant situation. Maybe buying a new home or going after a particular job or career that other people think he shouldn't be interested in, but he is, passionate about. That is the job that he would love, the job of his dreams or something. King of Cups is a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. He is somebody, at least when he's upright, who is seen as emotionally stable and balanced, both his masculine and feminine energies working together in a very healthy and positive way. But again, when he's in reverse, for example, from a general perspective, at work, he can be known to be somebody who like has an outburst at work, who goes off, and if it's talking about love or like I said, just about anything, but particular to love, somebody who's willing to take whatever risk they need to get what they want or who they want. So that's that. And then, like I said, right behind him, we have yet another king, the King of Wands. So looking at these two together, it could easily be the same person, for example, and be a Scorpio, because both Aries, which is a fire sign ruled by Mars, well, both Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars, is what I was going to say. Mars would be the ancient or esoteric ruler or original ruler of the sign of Scorpio. So that could be who we're talking with. Or this can be a Leo, as like I just said, Leo full moon, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Most directly, the King of Wands is a Sagittarius, or is seen as a Sagittarius. And the King of Cups is a Pisces. Behind those, we have the Four of Wands. So this is joy, this is happiness, this is commitment, this is wedding, this is marriage, love, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat. And then behind that, the next card is in reverse, and it is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So somebody who, maybe lost their best friend, somebody they really loved, they really cared about, separated from them in some way, maybe walked away from them even because of some sort of fear that they felt. Sometimes we want to break up with the person before they break up with us, because we both were mirroring each other, if we're soulmates or twin flames maybe, and we both have fear of rejection or fear of abandonment, and it's like I'm starting to get cold feet. Let me bounce on them before they do it to me, or let me not make I feel myself getting too attached. Let me not make an offer or allow myself to, get caught slipping and get too attached because they may not, respond the way they may reject me. And I have a fear of that. So I'd rather dip out first, right before that can happen. But we left our best friend behind. You see the dog there, right? The man's best friend. And that came up also in the other reading. There was a picture that I looked at on one of the cards that had a dog in it. And the guy had his head down. I think it was the despair card in the Kipper deck, the fortune teller's deck. He was sitting there like with his head in his hands, with his head down, and a dog by his feet. And I talked about the best friend. Anyway, so this could be somebody that you ghosted or that ghosted you, or something happened to some sort of separation, but again, maybe now being willing to take whatever risks they have to take in order to be happy and to come in very confidently and fearlessly as this King of Wands. Also, wands often attached, and we got a lot of wands here, between the Eight of Wands, the Four of Wands, and the King of Wands. Wands often attached to career, to job, to travel, combinations of those, right? So that could also be what's going on here. And again, it would be the job of your dreams, a job that you could love or do love, and you may even be a boss, right? Maybe it's a supervisory or managerial or an ownership situation for you, a partnership situation for you in terms of this job. I don't know what order these were in anymore. Oh, the Ten of Pentacles was on top. Then the Eight of Wands and the King of Cups and the King of Wands and the, yeah, that's right. So here we have a Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is known as the twin flame card of the tarot. Behind that we have the Devil. So he's in the reverse. So it also makes sense. Another King of Cups in reverse too, with an ace behind him. So again, ready, willing, able to sort of risk it all for some sort of partnership that in the past he felt was unattainable, or he was fearful about and didn't want to go next to, didn't want to get too caught up in because he was afraid. Okay. So now this King of Cups just, well, even if he is still somewhat fearful, willing to throw caution to the wind, as they say, to go after this love interest or this other partnership. If it's not a romantic love interest, some other type of partnership that is going to be resulting in abundance, right? There's a decision that has to be made here. Perhaps he was trying to do both all along, to juggle both, but there's a decision being made to go after the one now, okay? And if it's a partnership or relationship, it could be one that in the past, we also had Justice in reverse show up in the other reading. It could be one that in the past wasn't necessarily balanced or, equal. One could have been an overgiver, and with of course the other one therefore being an overtaker. One just give, another one take. And so now what came out in the Leo full moon reading is that now there is like a meeting, right? Coming to a crossroad, and there's like a meeting each other halfway at the intersection, and a commitment to both people pitching in or acknowledging that if we don't do that, it can't work. And there was an acknowledgement of that on the part of the masculine based on the cards. The Seven of Pentacles had come out for him, and in reverse as well. And the Seven of Pentacles in reverse is an acknowledgement that I'm only going to get back what I put in. Like, but I guess that's the only way I can think of to say it right now. But it's sort of going to be like equal. If I put in this amount, I'm not getting more than that amount anymore, right? Whereas I might have been in the past, the other person may have been a giver, and they may have kept giving, even though I wasn't putting in. But now with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, I know that I'm only going to get back only the seeds I plant. That's all that's going to grow. No, there's not going to be any mystery seeds that start growing that I didn't, tend to and nurture. Okay. So here we have, speaking of that Kipper deck, we have false person. And this false person could have been either one of the parties, right? The masculine, the feminine, or both. If they, again, got parties of three situations going on, or haven't been completely honest with each other, or again, one was, an overgiver, one was an overtaker, and so they haven't been exactly fair with each other. This could be representing them, or it could be representing somebody else, like that third party that's in your situation. The next card is in reverse. It is bad health. And then we have main male, who is the divine masculine, right? And, well, at least the way that I read these, the main male, because there's more than one card in this deck with a male on it or a masculine figure on it. But the one that says main male is the one that I use to represent the divine masculine. And also the King of Wands is sort of like the quintessential divine masculine of the tarot. He is who is the King of Wands in particular is recognized as the divine masculine in the tarot. So I think a lot of these things are talking specifically about him, about the masculine. And this looks like it might be the same person. So it could be the masculine himself, as I was saying, who maybe has been wearing a mask. But that doesn't mean that the feminine has been, completely truthful and honest herself. She's got her mouth covered here, so she could have been, playing some games before too. But again, now, at least if the Leo full moon reading is an indication, and these cards that we're looking at now are an indication, there's a new journey. Okay, there's a new journey. We're going to take a new route. We're going to try something different, or we're going to pick one of these roads, not divergent roads. We're going to pick one to travel on together to see what we can do. We know we both got to, pitch in on this. All right, so let's do a little bit of shuffling. Not too much. I'm going to take up too much time with shuffling. Okay, but free will, that's what you're going to need to make the, or use to make the choice. It's up to you. You can choose, right, to take a risk on yourself, a chance on yourself, and to follow your heart and follow your intuition, or you can choose to ignore your intuition, ignore your feelings, and do something that doesn't necessarily suit your life purpose. And that's up to you. That's the way the universe works. That's the way God works. It gives us a chance to pick what we want to do. Here we have a chaser as our overall energy, and followed by inner child. I'm seeing this two ways. So for one, the chaser in your dynamic could be actively chasing or wanting to chase right now, which I would advise against. The other, maybe they haven't responded to you yet and you're feeling that you need to chase because they're not as emotionally mature as you. But then again, if you're acting like a chaser, you might be sort of reckless right now either and not very emotionally mature yourself. Anyway, the cards say in pursuit, convincing, rejection, let them go and let them be. So the card agrees with me that I said we probably shouldn't chase. Inner child, playful, happy, enjoy the present moment and live to the fullest. So we're doing that. I am getting something though that there could be like a trading of places, and this person who's normally the runner because they're dealing with some sort of inner child issue becomes the chaser. As long as you do it, like I said, in a healthy way where it's like reaching out, but Eight of Wands style, like we saw the Eight of Wands, but not actively chasing, trying to run somebody down that is clearly not trying to be caught and trying to go in the opposite direction of you. That's not healthy. Here we have thoughts. This would be a masculine energy that is thinking about the feminine. So clearly, at least in this moment, they are in separation. They're not together. He's somewhere, physically somewhere sitting at a desk, and he's thinking about her. I'd be thinking about how he'd like to marry her. We did see the Four of Wands. How he can envision her, pictures her as, long-term relationship material, possibly actual wife material, husband material. And journey is now our overall energy, followed by pathway. You've got the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is usually about defending yourself and your decisions. So like I said, we did see that a decision was going to be made. Likely in relation to this plan that these two people have, to take on the world together. This could be about a communication. We got the Page of Swords here, or one or more of the parties involved. Could be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or somebody could be also maybe like watching you on social media or something when this card comes up. Maybe just trying to see how they can approach you about this partnership. Proposed partnership. Let's cut. Okay, so I was talking about Valentine's Day. A lot of times these unions, couples, soulmates. So we have here the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, it's another Ten of Pentacles. This is the Ten of Pentacles in the before the tarot deck. This is the Ten of Pentacles. I'll show you what it looks like upright because ours is in reverse. This is the Ten of Pentacles in the after the tarot deck. See, they've all been stashed. They've all been harvested and stashed in a trunk. Yeah, divine union couples often don't spend Valentine's Day together. That doesn't mean you never can. I certainly have, spent Valentine's Day with my love. I'm sure many of us have, with a love, I should say, because I am single. The Fool, the Ace of Cups, and the Two of Cups in reverse. Ace of Cups upright. So there is something about taking a chance here again, but we're not quite balanced. So again, maybe one more invested than the other, and that's what has to be worked out in order for things to really come together. Oh, so I was just starting to say, like, if you find yourself not with your love interest, or, who you believe to be your soulmate or twin flame or both, on Valentine's Day, try not to let it get you too down, because it doesn't mean that nothing's happening in the very near future. Especially with a card like the Knight of Swords showing up. And this is about expediency. This is about something coming in very, very fast. The Knight of Swords is also a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone like into those traits or attributes. We do have the Eight of Wands in reverse now. So it's like there is some sort of delay. But again, once he decides to come in with the information, it's going to be quick. So there could be a pause where it's like, figuring out what to say or whatever, because now we have the King of Cups upright, so more balanced, recognizing maybe a new opportunity to come in. King of Wands is the one that's in reverse now. It's interesting that they're still close to each other, and this is a different deck. It's not even the same deck. That was that deck before. But yeah, once he decides to speak, then this will flip around. He's probably thinking more logically now that he's upright over here. Not as potentially reckless as the King of Cups in reverse. But the Knight of Swords, once he makes up his mind or gets the information he needs in order to move, he moves very, very quickly. And it just takes off from there. All right, so this one first, the yellow, that's the before the tarot. Then the green after, that's the after the tarot. And I'll move these away for now. So the card, we'll leave our overall energy here. So everybody can see. And I'll turn these over. Something just fell. What was that? A check stub just landed on my feet from where, I don't know. Okay. Card most directly representing us this week is the other 10 of Pentacles. It is in reverse, but that's still a really nice card to have. Surrounding energy. So our co-workers, like 7th house type relationships, BFF, parent, child, our closest one-on-one relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. There's that 7 of Pentacles I was talking about in reverse that showed up for the masculine in the Leo full moon reading. Work and finance. Emperor upright. So again, you could end up in a situation where you are the boss, you are making the decisions, you are in control. Even if you're on the end of, you're the hiree rather than the person doing the hiring, there's still some level of control that you have. Maybe you can walk into a place, with your resume, CV as they say, and, sort of ask for the amount of money you want or whatever sort of stipulations you require, because there's this level of control that you have even in the if you're not in the position of the hiring or the boss, because that's a very boss energy, particularly in work and finance area. That was the green, right? Or yellow. Love and relationship. 4 of Swords in reverse. Physical health. Strength, upright. Somebody who was weak, maybe this last week, could be getting their strength back this week. Maybe last week you were under the weather. Could be something involving the sun or rays. Maybe last week you had a fever, or there was something going on with chemo or radiation or an x-ray or MRI or something. And now, this week there is an improvement in that area. This was green, right? Oh, that's yellow. I keep doing that. Spiritual health, the Hierophant, upright. And this card also came out upright in the Leo full moon reading as the energy that the universe or God wants to help the divine masculine and feminine, to achieve, which is commitment and even marriage. So very, very nice that showed up again. So starting with our 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Even in reverse, 10 of Pentacles is a very positive card, positive omen. It says we have a lot to be thankful for, and you should be remembering to give thanks. I try to, and I'm not perfect either, but I try to do it every morning when I wake up. I try to remember to say my prayers every night before I go to sleep. And if I start to go to sleep and I end up not going to sleep, I say them again, like when I decide to put my head down again, like, each time, even if I end up praying 5 times at night before I, nod off, in hopes of actually nodding off, because y'all that know me know I don't sleep much. I'll do it 5 times. I don't care. So I try to remember to give that sort of constant thanks, appreciation for everything that I have, and including, life's breath itself, right? So the 10 of Pentacles is a reminder to do that. And also of, again, things going generally well. So if they haven't been going for you well, this past week, then maybe this week things will be better for you. Same way I was saying about the health, maybe in the area of material wealth and or, other resources of funding, things will be going better too. In love, specific to love, there could be a long-term relationship that you've grown tired of, and maybe for some that's what the decision is about, the decision that the Knight of Swords has to make. You will maybe be taking you might be at that crossroad, right, of a party of 3, and taking sort of an assessment of this long-term relationship versus this other relationship that's available to you, or versus being single, or both, being single and maybe considering or approaching another relationship, because you don't have to jump into another relationship automatically anyway. You can do both. But that could be what's happening there with that. Similarly with work, somebody could be tempted, and again, follow your heart, follow your intuition, so it could be a good thing. Somebody could be tempted to make a decision to leave their current employment, which is a good job. All right, it is a good job. Maybe that's why other people are saying you got to be crazy. You're gonna leave that to do XYZ. But if XYZ is your passion, if XYZ is your life purpose, or you feel it is, that's what you've been guiding toward, that your intuition's been telling you that, and that's what's in your heart, then that's where you need to go. You need to plan it, and then Knight of Swords doesn't necessarily do that. It doesn't necessarily plan things out, but that could be why the Emperor is here in your position of work and finance. The Emperor maintains control of things and would make a plan. So it could, both could apply to the same person. All right, so I covered general, work, and love, right? So let's move on to the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And this is a card, again, that's basically, whether it's upright or in reverse, is about return on your investment, getting back something for putting in. But as I said several times before, the reverse one is more, at least the way I read it, like direct compensation, for exactly what you put in, exactly what you get out. And that's why one of the meanings of it is, or at least for me, that you need to get real clear right now about, what success means to you, about what your goals look like, and when they're met. Not the time to necessarily allow your goals to be something that's, vague or, not easily, I guess, attained, whereas you don't even have a plan or something like that. Because if they are, you're setting yourself up to fail. It'll be something that you're never going to meet. So you need to be very, very specific, and in terms of your job, again, what you want out of the job. Like I said, you could be in a position where you're being hired and you need to tell them, what kind of salary you're looking for. You need to have an answer for that question. What can you offer to this company? You need to have an answer to that question. But in relationships too, what do you want out of this relationship? And you have to sort of lead by example with this card, because again, what you put in is what you're going to get out, or, like a direct, the same amount, basically. What else? I guess that's it. I felt like I had something else to say, but I lost it, I guess. Oh, I guess similarly, like I did with this card, this is the one in the surrounding energy. So this could be another person that's maybe feeling this way about you, or somehow you're directly impacted. But with work, again, just like I said about this one, it's like you could be thinking about, wanting to leave the job. Like you're just not getting the same satisfaction that you're used to get out of it, now. And so you're deciding like what to do. And if you got to like go within and figure out like why that is, is it because you're getting guidance from your, ancestors, your angels, whatever it is it because your heart's, in another type of career or in owning your own business, something like that? Or is it just a whim? And then once you figure that out, then you can again make a decision as to what you want to do about it. You want to moonlight, so you want to keep working there while you start your own gig, and do both at the same time, and until you can let go of that job and just do the other thing, or you want to quit outright and go into something else. You want to start interviewing. Those are the decisions, the thoughts that you'd have to make about that process. I don't know why I keep putting the cards back because I'm still talking. So similarly in love, you're coming to a realization with this card that nobody's perfect. You may have been expecting too much out of yourself or another person, or out of your love interest or your partners in general, and finally realizing, nobody's perfect. We're all flawed, and we all gotta, compromise. And again, there's going to be give and take in every relationship. We're going to have to do some work in every relationship. And, that's just the way life is. If you're looking for love, you're single, and, you just feel like you keep coming up empty, like, you can't find what you're looking for, then maybe you got to consider the possibility that you have unrealistic, requirements. Sort of like an idealized idea, a fantasy of what the right partner, looks like for you. And when I say looks like, I don't necessarily mean physically, but that's part of it, obviously, especially if you're a man, they tend to be more visible. But, looks like in terms of other things too, like how, whether or not you got to have certain things in common, and, maybe whether or not they have to be of a certain, race or religion or age or size or whatever. You could be sort of like what I said in the beginning. I think it was the beginning of this reading, or was it the last reading? But I was talking in one of them about sort of setting yourself up for failure, like getting in your own way in terms of life. I think it was the last reading, getting in your own way in terms of love, because I think it was the last reading with the Justice card in reverse. Like just you're the obstacle to your own ability to meet people or whatever. So there's that. All right, so I think I'm really done with the Seven of Pentacles this time. So again, the Emperor shows up for us here in the position of work and finance. In addition to the things I said before, work should be going well, and your efforts there are not going unnoticed. I did talk about in the last reading, so try to watch both. High honors, like your name coming up, ringing bells, getting recognition that you've been due or something. So that could be with regard to work. In this case, pay particular attention to, remaining organized and following through on things, not leaving things, half done or undone, and, thinking things through, in a logical way. And your results should, you know, be what you want, be very, very good. Um, Maybe even better than they had been, if not like, you know, if you don't feel like they're excellent, you feel like there's still room to grow. That's still You're still coming out better, and more on top than you had been. Is basically what I'm getting with this. In terms of finances, that may or may not also be attached to, um, your work. This card showing up says that there's a need for discipline, um, at least this week. So maybe other weeks you can spend a little bit more freely and, be a lot less frugal. But this week there's a need for discipline and logic in order to like make your finances, work better for you, in order to to stretch them farther, and things like that. What we want to do is pay attention to, um, like are we basically our relationship with money. Our, that's what we got to pay attention to. I kept trying to think of a way to say what I'm trying to say, but, um, are we treating our money with respect? Is a question. Do we know how much we have, and where it's going, and so forth? Maybe you need a budget. There's some, um, like even some of the tax software people, like, TurboTax and stuff. Sometimes they have other, softwares. What's that other software that Intuit makes? Quicken. There's Quicken. There's QuickBooks. I think that's more extensive, like more like for a bookkeeper or somebody that has a company or something like that, maybe. I think that your average, Joe or Jane should probably be able to use Quicken, and some banks have it too. Like you don't even need to get like a software like that. You can go on your bank and they can help you to like make a budget, or to, set a goal. I want to save this amount of money toward this item, I want to save this amount of money in general. Help me to get my money, stored away for retirement or whatever it is, college. So that may be something that some of us want to look into this week. So the Four of Swords, in the position of love and relationship, can mean more than one thing. One is that one or both of the parties may be particularly exhausted. And that could be different types of exhausted. It could be literally exhausted as in tired, as in you need some sleep. Maybe they work very hard. I mean, sitting here underneath the 10 of Pentacles, maybe somebody is working very, very hard, and, and maybe they're a boss, and they come home and they don't have much time for the relationship. They're just tired. So that could be the case. Maybe they are, a stay-at-home mom and they're taking care of the kids, and so then they make dinner and then they clean the house, and then by the time the partner comes home, he's ready to kick it, and she's ready to take a bath and go to bed. It could be those sorts of things, or, you may have been on a break of some sort, or maybe physically apart for some reason, vacations alone, or traveling for work or something like that. That could be, I mean, you had been on a break and you're coming out of it now. You may have had some recent, arguing or something, and we're moving beyond that, right? There was some Three of Swords type of stuff, and we're moving beyond that now. Um, this could be where, like I was saying, some people maybe also with relation to love, as I mentioned with the 10 of Pentacles, you can be sort of over particularly a long-term relationship that you've been in. I see a lot of people that are in that situation making the decision to completely get out of those relationships and to move on to a soulmate or twin flame, or again to be single for a while, or both. Be single but begin to, um, pour into those soulmate relationship connections and twin flame toward a relationship, maybe further down the line. So I do see a lot of people leaving those relationships altogether, and that could be what this is. Because it's just been kind of painful and not very good for a while now, and we're both realizing that, right? Admitting it, that we're getting out of it what we've put in, and same thing with the other person, what they've put in, they're getting out of it, and neither one of us wants to put anything more into it, so we want to leave. That could be what's happening. Could also be, I started to talk about how I felt like people would want to leave those relationships. So I mentioned the Ten of Pentacles because this could also be about not feeling bored. Well, like the Seven of Pentacles is kind of like a boredom too. It could be, but not necessarily just feeling bored, but also feeling like, well, this would be for those who are interested in staying in the relationship and not leaving it. Although, like I said, I feel most would leave. But if you're interested in staying in those long-term relationships that you're also feeling like you're kind of over, then you need to come up with new ways to sort of be more together, more cohesive. Because this is about a break. This is about separation. This is about, vacation and things like that, travel. So the opposite would be you need to figure out how to come together more and maybe spend more time together or have better communication. And this could also be with somebody from whom you are separated, or with whom you are in separation. So say like that twin flame or soulmate, with them you may be trying to figure out how can we be more cohesive, how can we be more together, even if we're maybe physically separated too, at a distance, or somebody's in jail or something. Also, whatever the case is, we're physically separated. How can we feel more together? It's going to be through better communication, through talking more. Even if that has to be like if somebody's in jail or something, maybe you got to write letters, maybe you can't talk on the phone, whatever the case is. But coming up with creative ways maybe that you can be more together. And this is also another card that's similar to the ones we went over already, that says that if you're single and looking, and again coming up empty, then maybe you need to look into not necessarily what obstacles you're putting in front of yourself, or what you may be doing or not doing that's preventing you from entering a relationship, but a change in tactics in some area, or maybe just a change of how you go about it. Like I like to meet people in person. That's how I've met every man that I've been with. I bumped into him on the street somewhere, or, we had mutual friends and were around each other enough to when we finally decided we wanted to go out, or whatever the case may be. But I've never done internet dating. I've never picked up anybody from my DMs, like none of that. But if I was trying to change tactics, then maybe I would, or maybe I should do one of those things, So it's like out of your ordinary haunts, or ordinary style, or maybe your ordinary type, doing something differently, switching up something in order to find it. So put those three together. Was one is saying you're getting in your own way. One is saying you need to change your tactics, right? So, and one is saying, maybe you need to change something. They're all basically saying maybe you need to change something. You got to at least examine. So put them all together and apply it. If they fit. Don't force it, but if they fit. So as I said before, the strength card in the position of physical health is about your physical health being strong, and you feeling sort of full of energy and vitality this week. And so it is a good time because of that to like sort of make plans to maintain or manage or even continue to improve your health by maybe working on getting rid of like bad habits, or starting new like regimen, like implementing a daily walk, or I don't know, I just got like a daily read, like reading a book or a paper or some newspaper or something every day too could even be a way to help with your physical health. of course, a change in diet, exercise. But it's okay to start small with this. Or it could be traditional habits. Like I'm going to, reduce the number of cigarettes I smoke every day until I don't smoke any. I'm going to cut back on my drinking, or I'm going to whatever. Okay. That's the physical health. And last but not least, in the placement of spirituality, we have the Hierophant, who in some decks is known as the High Priest, just to give you a better idea of his connection to spirituality and sometimes perhaps even religiosity, okay? Similar to the High Priestess, or is said to be a counterpart to the High Priestess. And speaking more about the High Priestess, what differentiates her. There's only one high priestess, there's only one empress. But the high priestess is said to be the queen of the heavens. And the empress is said to be the queen of the earth. So that's the distinction between them. And of course, I could go into a whole thing about the queen of the heavens, because on the traditional Rider-Waite card, if you want to look it up or read the Rider-Waite book that accompanies it or whatever, you will find that is a picture of Isis dressed very Mary-like on the Rider-Waite card between King Solomon's columns, Boaz and Joaquin. That's why it says B and J on it. So those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know that when Isis first came to me a long time ago, she definitely did reveal that she was the higher version of Mary, or to Mary's higher self, basically. So that's going into depth to give you an idea of the connection to spirit and the spiritual, and or possibly religion, that this card carries. So in this placement of spirituality, it's just that much more intense, right? So this card is showing up to say that you're really concerned or interested in spirituality right now, even if you don't have anything traditional, any traditional beliefs or practices in that regard. You're just really sort of captivated by it right now. And it may be because of a soulmate relationship, because of a twin flame union. That's what, triggers a lot of people to, look into things like tarot card readings, right? Or different types of healing, crystals, candles. We get all wrapped up in this stuff often because of our relationships, romantic connections, or love interests. People starting to, even witchery, or sometimes more ancient practices, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not elevating one above the other. I'm just saying all those things begin to come into play. I guess depending upon, from where your soul originates, and where you're meant, or with what energy, with what, and with which of your past lifetimes you're meant to connect in this lifetime, toward your life purpose, right? So in this lifetime, I'm using myself as an example. I'm an angelic. I'm not a witch. I don't identify as a witch. I'm going to have nothing against witches. I'm not elevating myself above them, but I'm not one. I'm an angelic. Some people consider themselves starseeds, or, specific, to be from specific asteroids or planets. They could say that they are Palladian, or Octarian, or there's so many different things. They're from the water. From Atlantis, or they're from what's the tribe of the ape? I can't think right now, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. And a lot of people discover those things, or begin to realize those things about themselves, or maybe have a vision like I did, or be visited by something like I was, to tell them basically who they are or what they are, and kind of get them on the path of what they're meant to be. But if you don't have that, you're still interested, because there's still something coming up in your intuition that is guiding you, directing you to look into things. You may be even getting tarot readings on yourself, or maybe you're doing them, maybe you've bought yourself a deck, or you're going to somebody to have one done, or you're going to somebody for Reiki, or you're going into a crystal store, you're finding yourself more interested in them and wanting to buy the jewelry, or wanting to have some stones around your house, or to, put salt over your threshold, or, and light some candles, whatever it is. That's happening this week, for whatever reason. But because the Hierophant traditionally is a card of commitment and marriage, I definitely think that at least, especially being part of one of my readings in terms of what I do and for whom I read, that it definitely has to do with some of the love connections that some of you are experiencing this week or will experience this week, right? That's sort of driving you to become more in touch with your life purpose and with spirit. On that note, let's pull a couple of these that I had put to the side. How about 3 each? Is that good? I'll put them here. So from the Twin Flame Oracle, we have first memories. So this could be tied to something or someone from your past. Maybe even from a past life. I was just talking about past lives. Nostalgia, repetition, attachment, reliving the past. Let it go. So if there's something that you're holding on to that's negative, that's a negative emotion, like regret, resentment, remorse, right? Or not remorse. Remorse is feeling sorry. Regret, or not. You're not feeling remorseful. Guilt, blame, the inability to forgive, all those sorts of things. You're holding on to one negative incident or situation that occurred in the past, and you're holding that against yourself or against somebody else, or against relationships at large as a whole. I can't go near a relationship because this happened to me this one time. That's what you're meant to let go. But it's fine to and you're not meant to get stuck in the past. Meant to be in the present moment. But it's fine to take your memories with you. This one's upside down. I think I'm going to skip it. The next one is offer. Very nice. Gesture, engagement, wedding. Rejoice in your union. So wedding and Hierophant and those kind of energies came up in both readings, both the Leo full moon reading and in this one. So there definitely could be some of that happening. Or some offers being made. And we have forgive is the third card. Tranquility, peaceful mind and heart, freedom from the past. So that's that stuff that I was talking about that you could be holding on to, that could be holding you back, that may be tied to the 4 of Swords, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. That could be how you're getting in your own way. Letting go of that stuff and forgiving will allow you to maybe accept an offer and to just be happy about the positive memories that you have and let go of the negative stuff, right? What was the one that I put back? It was blessings. It was just in reverse. I just didn't want to take it. And I think we were meant to have these, right? They resonate better with the reading that I did today. From this fortune teller deck, the first one is despair. Was it this reading that I was talking about the guy? Yeah. In this reading, I was talking about the guy from the last reading, and it's this guy. I said his head was down and he had his dog there. It's despair. So somebody just, feeling sort of down in the dumps, not unsure of what to do, probably has a decision to make and, trying to get it figured out. They should know that they have a friend near that they can talk to about it. But again, this needs to be their decision. The next card is concern. Oh, look, they're in order. Card number 32 and then followed by card number 33. Concern. This guy pondering on something as well, trying to get something figured out. And the last card is 18, child, which can mean so many things. It can be about maturity, often emotional maturity. It can be about our issues with our parents or our children, or something from our past, like growing up when we were children that we are holding on to, that's affecting us now in our present, that we need to let go of. or something could be involving an actual literal child, of course, in your life, and maybe that's been in the past impacting you, but now we've reached this point where we're realizing we have to make a decision about something, and it can't be based on the fact that we have a child or we don't have a child. It has to be based on our intuition, what our heart is telling us to do, and where we feel our life is meant to go, what our life purpose is, or what our purpose, at least in this moment, is. And that's what I have for you this week. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. Namaste.